Henry Cejudo just did a piece on, I would call it a reaction to the numbers, the star power, Suga Sean O'Malley, and Henry was using as his evidence, and ultimately he maintained that Suga Sean is not a star yet, and he used as evidence that the pay-per-view between Sean O'Malley and Aljo Sterling did 350,000 buys. And I want to start with that. Because that's very interesting to me. First off, Henry wouldn't know. He claimed a source inside ESPN. Okay, it really doesn't matter. It was a really good guess. All right, take that from another guy who's got a source. It's a really good guess. Why did that go to Suga Sean? Suga Sean walked out second. Why did that go to Sean? And there's an answer to that. I'm just trying to get you guys to come along the journey so that you understand. Do you know what a Nielsen rating is? Do you know how you get a Nielsen rating? It is the only rating that any advertiser that does linear television, and linear is just a word that pricks use, right? TV's TV. They'll go off of a rating system known as the Nielsen rating. But do you know how that works? Okay, there's 1,000 households, and they were all given remote control, and they are part of this Nielsen system. So they have sworn that they will push a button when they're watching TV. Enter a code for how many people are watching with them within the living room or dining room setting. When somebody leaves the room for whatever reason, if it's to get a snack, go to the bathroom, or they've just lost interest, you will then hit a button. When they return to the room, if they return to the room, you will hit a button to signify that they have to return to the room. I'm about a quarter way through that system. I could continue on and on and on and tell you the rest, but do you see the problem already? Okay, that's called a Nielsen rating. And there's not a whole lot of other things that you can do. Like, as many flaws as you want to find with the system that I just said, there's not a whole lot of other things that you can do. And I only bring that to you because I don't necessarily give our analytics department a hard time. I just disclose for the audience the way that it works. If you have an event, it's not the main event that gets the credit. Whoever wins the main event then gets credited with the numbers. It could be a dud. You could win the main event and have a dud for whatever storyline or factors or issues that you had to compete with. It will go to you. So Suga Sean, because he won, now we're calling this the Suga Sean show, and the 350,000 goes to Sean. Absolutely no credit or consideration given to the fact that it was in fact the champion who is getting ready to make bantamweight history with a proper title defense, of which he was favored almost 3-1 to do. I mean, I'm just sharing for you so you understand the problems with this theory. Nothing would have been hurt on Suga Sean, and nothing would even be touched on Suga Sean had he lost the match and it done 50,000 buys. That fully would have got blamed on Sterling. So I just want to make sure that you even understand where we're coming from. Now, secondly, I believe Henry's attempt here was to pull down Suga Sean, and I just got to know, since when did 350,000 buys turn into a bad number? Henry furthered this by saying, and Henry, I'm not giving you a hard time. I talk to Henry on the phone all the time. Now I'm over here bashing him, but I don't mean to. I would just love to hear what his counter is. Tell me where I'm looking at it wrong. First off, it only gets credit to Sean because Sean won. That's weird, but let's do it anyway, because that's a fair system for how it works across the board. 350 being a bad number. Since when? What are you comparing that to, that 350 is a bad number? Like each year, pay-per-view gets a little bit smaller. I mean, pay-per-view, the business at least gets a little bit tougher. There's other ways to watch. There's more content creators that sell to different distributors and count less on pay-per-view. There's hacking, there's theft, there's a number of reasons, but pay-per-view, I say it got smaller. Let's change the word to say harder. It just gets harder each year. Well, a year ago, Surreal and Francis fought, and they did less than 350,000 buys. I'm trying to put this in perspective for you, right? The lighter weights have always had a hard time selling. Now, that's an older theory. Thank you, Floyd Mayweather. Thank you, Oscar De La Hoya. Thank you, Manny Pacquiao. Thank you, Conor McGregor. But the lighter guys have always had a hard time. Now in this kid's situation, I'm taking our lighter championship fight. I'm going back a year compared to a heavyweight fight. And the lightweights outdid the heavyweights. When did 350,000 become a bad number? That's the part that it really does confuse me. First off, we don't even know. We don't even have confirmation. The drip is still coming in. It's not going to change a whole lot. Henry did a good job with his guesstimation there. Whether he faked the source or not, good job with the guess. Let's call it 350. It's close enough. Let's call 350. When did that become a bad number? And how come that got put on Sean? And by the way, there's also a metric that one can follow for when a guy's star starts to rise. I don't know what that current metric is, but I know back in the day, back around 2003, it was 15%. A guy's value would go up 15% each time he fought. So if you did 350,000 buys, you can expect a 15% bump just by example in the next one. I don't disagree with those numbers. A live gate, piracy at an all-time high, 350,000 buys. That's a solid night of business. I'm confused what numbers you would use to counter that claim.